She can run through walls at the 150, but a Tissue and Cascadian are coming at her. Pride of Jenny at the 100, Cascadian wearing her down. Pride of Jenny at the 50, Cascadian's got up to her, Cascadian back to back.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot, joined in studio up here at the Gold Coast with John Walter. Big weather watch across the eastern seaboard. Danger, danger, Will Robinson, as you say.
Yeah, good. No, I don't know. It just keeps getting worse. So, I'm just hoping it's perfect. I hope it all cruises through and you miss it all on Saturday because you've thrown us under the bus. You've just left us. You've nothing.
Don't know what you're talking about. DK, what's going on down there in Melbourne town? Are you ready for me? I'm coming.
Oh, yeah, you're coming down, Scoot? Yeah, just told me that. Got the wedding on the weekend. No, that's all right. You're going to have to call in on Casey. You might need to snip you. Poor bugger. $100,000 fine for Casey in Mintbet. What about that? Anyway, what is it, compliance these days? I mean, being a bookie, just another thing you got to worry about. But problem gambling, might talk about that later. But anyway, how are you, Nico? You're back from your little Coffs Harbour sojourn?
Yeah, I'm well, fresh, ready to get into it. The weather watch is big for the weekend, especially with that Randwick meeting, but should be all sweet at Caulfield, so hopefully we can tune in there and chime in with a few winners.
Interesting one with Mintbet copping the $100,000 fine. What's the client dusted $35,000 in what was it? 35
couple of days,
35 hours worth of betting over a 50-hour window. It's definitely a strange one. I'm tipping he's not the only customer that would have done it over the last sort of few years. It seems a
few
hell
days.
of a... Hey?
A few days.
Well, yeah, it's
I'm not saying with Casey, that is, pardon me.
Yeah, seems like a hefty fine for a small operator when you imagine that similar stuff is going on at the big boys. There's something about it for me that it's just got a bit of a whiff about it, and I responsible gambling and problem gambling's a massive problem, and more percentage on the boards and fueling bonus bets and everything that was spoken about in the last sort of 18 months is only making the problem worse for everyone, and the wall-to-wall product that you just can't escape from, and it's on your phone. So they are making their own sort of problems and a rod for their own back. And wow, $100,000 fine for a company that size is savage, I would have thought. Very, very tough.
Doesn't make a lot of sense when you see a lot of people are breached at 10, 20, 30, 40 times. They're in court once a week for these sorts of things and walk away with like $5,000 fines and stuff. So same as most things in this industry, very hard to line things up at times.
Doesn't make sense.
They were trying to make an example of him by the sound of the comments from the VGCO, whatever they're called, who slung him. So we're not going to tolerate it and all this rubbish, but I was just saying, Sean Byrne who works in the Caper, who works for another bookie, sort of saying the big problem is the regulators refuse to prescribe and standardise the red flags. However, they'll find bookmakers in breach when the red flags are inadequate in brackets. The bookmaker with the strictest red flag loses to the less strict bookie. Punters are also gaming the system by having a good crack, doing what they did, and then pleading problem gambling and trying to get their money back. So there's all a bit of he said the ecosystem's a mess. So, as we know.
And that used to happen in my time when I was bookmaking with Alan, when we were doing sports betting on a Friday, Saturday night. We'd often get a call the day after because, someone, reckons they got on the drink or did this or did that, and they'll weasel their way to try and get out of bets that they can't remember they placed.
You could tell that during the night they start slurring on purpose and whatever, and they're having they're setting you up. But anyone who's worked in a betting shop seen both sides of it. Fair enough to a certain degree, but where do you draw the line? It's just so crazy. And as we've said, they've got to take some responsibility because if you're underwriting bonus bets, you're allowing them to give them to selected clients, you're allowing them to give selected products to selected clients, you're allowing them to ring Joe up and say, mate, you've just done your 100, here's a 50% bonus if you put another 100 in, but it's who's at fault, and how does anyone... How intrusive do you have to be on someone to understand that 31,000's outside of their limit? Or
no one knows.
How would you know? Like got even,
Well, I remember working even back in the track days, Scoot, working for AD, and there was phone betting, and you'd have a bloke on the chase, and then he'd start stretching his limit, and AD would have known he was slow to pay in the past when he got up there, and he'd say, next time the bloke rings up, hand me the phone. And the bloke would be ringing up saying, give us 2,000 on this, and then hand him over to AD, and then AD said, Scoot, you're all sweet here, this all sweet. Yeah, I'm sweet, it's all right. Oh, yep, no dramas, and just put the phone in. That was checking in, but it's just that verbal thing. So it's not a big what's the bloke going to say? He said, of course I'm sweet. I want to keep betting, you know?
Yeah, and often they give you the old, mate, I might be a week late if it goes down, but it'll be all right. Something like it was just, it was a more personal relationship. Whereas now you're clicking a button, someone's clicking. 300 bets to Jimmy down the road who's never had a bet in his life might sound like a maniac. 300 bets to us, if you're betting across 20 bookmakers, and trying to split your
Just
bets
trying
up,
to get
mate,
on.
it could be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not even being funny. It's very hard to judge when you're, unless the guy, like, we don't know this case in particular. Maybe the guy's, normally a $5 punter or something. I don't know. But, it's hard to put it all on the operator. And we're obviously, that's our job to beat the operator. And we're sort of nearly finding ourselves sitting in their corner a lot now, trying to back them up because, it looks like there's not going to be many of them left very soon, which is not good for anyone.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a couple more that might go by the wayside in the next couple of weeks. So really testing times in the bookie landscape. Really funny week. We had the Bow Desert Stewards Bungle where we had just an absolute howler upheld there. Goulburn Racetrack, they've given it away. So they've not even bothered to actually evaluate the land, and they've all unanimously voted in favour to hand it back over to Racing New South Wales. And if that wasn't crazy enough, they've named a race after Russell Balding, who...
The Bald Eagle, 3 million.
Balding Eagle.
Yeah.
Who made a meal of the odds and evens. Said, well, if you're back 2 and 5, it's an odd.
Can I make up the trophy?
It's got a 2 and a 5 and odds and evens on it.
Imagine that.
That was the odds and evens was meant to be underwriting all these pop-up races and stuff. So it's a crazy world at the
as
moment.
much as anyone, right? And this guy's been the head of Racing New South Wales for 45 years or something, the world record of tenure as the head of. And the only time we ever remember seeing him is 2 and 5 is even or whatever. That's the only time any of us ever remember seeing the bloke or anything he's ever done in racing.
Which is stupid. Like, you've got Russell Balding, who no one really knows, and then they come out and say, oh, no, we're going to change the name to the Very Elegant Stakes, or we're going to modernise a race and call it the Wink Stakes because that's what the next generation does. Well, it just flies in the face of all that noise and dribble and rubbish. So they're just taking the piss. They're just having a bit of a laugh at all of us.
I thought Ray Thomas was lucky to be left off that list, Scoot, of howlers as well. What are you saying? What about his bloody PVL, comments there about the Australian Cup being pushed back to the end of March? It clashes with the Tancred, and there's been no criticism of that. When they've done it, they've changed. How many races have they changed to clash? And then the one time they do it down here, he wants to tee off on it, just like as though it was lip service. PV and he just fed him that to put out there. I thought that was a lot of people called that out, but I thought that should have been on the howlers as well.
Even pushing these races
100%.
back for this championship. They're coming out 19. 16 of the last 19 of these meetings have been run on het tracks. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's called weather patterns. It's
been happening
pushing
forever.
these things back and back and back is forcing them onto these sorts of tracks. So even that sort of stuff's never talked about.
Yeah, well, in terms of Ray Thomas, it's pretty hard to take someone seriously like Ray. His missus or his mum would still iron his undies, I reckon, every day.
He looks like the dude from Las Vegas where he sits on the bloke's knee, the ventriloquist doll, doesn't he? And that's basically what he is. They just don't have they do have a hand up his backside. It's just not it's not visible.
He'd cut the crust off his Vegemite sandwiches, I reckon, when he packs his lunch every day to go to school. Work. Another funny one, we might have it, what is it, the ratings howler of the week. This is a good one. Arctic Glamour, you found this one for me, Walt. Second in the Group 2 Emancipation, never looked like winning. It goes from 76 to 93. So for a 3-year-old filly,
got beat 3
savaged.
lengths. Didn't it? Something like that. It was 2 or 3 lengths.
Yep.
Was running 6 with 50 metres to go. Just got over the top of a bunch late. So any of us video watchers are sitting there going, this thing was flattered potentially. And then it gets 8.5 kilos of weight thrown on top of it wherever it goes next start. So we're sitting there as people like, this is a horse we want to target to get it beat in the same grade next start. And the handicapper goes, we're giving this horse 8.5 kilos penalty.
And it's quite funny. I've been seeing, all the build up to the championships and the promo and all that sort of stuff. And you hear all these trainers saying, oh, we had nowhere else to place the horse because its rating's too high. And it's just this constant thing that you hear. Every trainer's gone, oh yeah, well we had to come here and we had to do this and had to do that. So yeah, and it's an awful mess. But inflating the ratings to pop up all the big races seems like it's running rampant. On a more serious,
We missed the real howler, didn't we?
Oh, Nico, yes. What was it?
Bandy's boy.
oh here we go. Jeez,
on what I'm looking at, he went from an 80 to 110 rater for winning the
That's
Star
the horse.
Kingdom.
30.
30.
Bandy's
30
boy, I
points.
haven't seen that one. So
Yeah,
he got 30 for his barrier trial leading into the country championships qualifier.
Well, that was the horse I was talking about. Yeah, and they said they could struggle. They were struggling to place him. Yeah,
So they've basically given him a barrier trial and then and he's won it.
yeah,
And,
one by default.
and he's got a 15 kilo rate. I've just never seen and Nico be the start. Like you look at these races and you think, oh, what's the spread like in a whatever it is, a Doncaster or something, and you're thinking, oh, this thing will be a mid-80s rater. They're all over 100.
Yeah.
And when did that start happening? It's obviously a thing.
Yeah, they're doing it deliberately.
And these aren't 100 raters.
No.
Like, these are welter horses.
Camels, as you'd say, some of them.
Well,
2 hump,
glorified
3 hump.
camels, but they're good horses, but they're benchmark 80 horses.
You think, Walt, this is one of the reasons why there's so many. What part of the reason why, apart from the cash, what so many go to Hong Kong and stuff like that, because they run the risk of that happening down here. You know, they be a good horse, run a good race, run a second or third in a good race, go up the rating points, and then they're hard to place, hard to do. So I'll sell it to Hong Kong.
100%, and that's a lot of the time what they're trying to do, isn't it? Boost their rating to sell them, because they know once they win 2 or 3, they're going to be unplaceable anyway. So they may as well get their earn and move it on and try and encourage the owners into buying another maiden or something that they can actually place.
That's no different to just raising the prize money. We're just cannibalising the sport.
And it's not just this; like they're pushing all country races out of their area. So a horse, it's in wherever Wagga. They win they win a maiden and a benchmark 58 or something, or a class 1. I think they still have a few of them around. Now they're unplaceable. Their owners can't watch them. They're worth actually nothing, and they've got to drive 3 or 4 hours to find a race that they can race in it 10 times before they can come back to a benchmark 58 in their own area. So it's not just the top end. They're trying to push horses out of their grade all throughout the state to prop up field sizes in races, but they're not even competitive. So, what does it actually achieve?
Well, they're just on the merry-go-round.
Yep.
That's the thing. You just get so much money for just going around all the time, and it's nearly better off if you just don't win or don't have your horse fully fit all the time, because you can just mop up prize money.
Bandy's
galore.
boy may be a great example, because he's a good horse. He's a very good horse. And even if he wins this country championships on the weekend, that could be the end of his. He could be Shelby number 2. Like that poor bugger's gone around probably 10 or 15 starts more than he needed to, but he was cast as soon as he won that one race, and there's no way back.
Yeah, so the grading's definitely changed, and they're just going up too quick and not back fast enough. So Rod for their own back. Awful news breaking late last night with rider Stefano Churchy passing away in Canberra. So horrible news out of New South Wales and the ACT there with the 23-year-old international rider. And a good reminder of how dangerous the sport is. So all the jockeys and their families would be reeling. So condolences to everyone there. But just 23 is just so young.
It's
so
sad. They said they flew the family out a few days ago, which was not a great sign. But you hope maybe some positives out of it. They start treating safety a lot more seriously, especially with these guys. These races are getting messier and messier. So horrible stuff.
Another good one to try and improve the tracks as well. Looking forward to today's show. It was a bit of a tough week for us. So we've gone from a bit of a feast to a famine last week. Doomben was off, so that was troublesome. And it's going to be really tricky to try and turn over money this week as well, with Eagle Farm on for now, but 60 mil forecast there. There's nearly, 80 to 100 mil forecast between sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Randwick, which is a real shame because we've got the Doncaster meeting and 4 Group 1s there, so it's an absolute beauty there. Nico's going to be flying the flag. He could be the Lone Ranger with Caulfield. The weather's pretty good down there, a bit cold, DK reckons, but not much rain around, so they'll get through the Caulfield meeting on Saturday. The Galilee finals, a good one there, and... speaking of 2 hump camels, I found one with Daquin Sweet Jr. and Nico's horse, Mark Twain. Did you roll out of the beach at Coffs Harbour and have something on Mark Twain and ignore my tip on Daquin Sweet Jr., Nico?
I did have something small on him. Coming into the bend, I didn't really think we were much of a chance, but that last 200 or 100 metres, he just grew wings.
Whoa.
So I would have thought off that run, he's a chance in the Melbourne Cup to run a big race. Don't know if he could win it, but... he'll get in with the right weight, and I think he's definitely a top 5 chance off the way he smashed the line there.
You okay, Walt?
I just Nico's tipping in November already. I love it. I love it. No, he's dead right. Like if he shows up in whatever form he was in on Saturday, holy cow! I've never seen a horse with the definition of kept coming. It was you just ride it down 15 times, wasn't it? Just kept coming.
Yeah, it was interesting. Roger James down here, and then Wellwood up in Sydney. I thought that was a little bit strange, but then the way Mark Twain won, I thought, that makes even more sense.
Yeah, tough bugger.
Yeah, it was a beauty. TopSport Steam, 2 seconds for 3 bets. So I think Pride of Jenny was one of them. Cascading was super again, wasn't she? And Declan Bates, another great ride from him. TopSport have got the Protest Player at Top Fluck and best of the best on Victorian Group races. So I think we've seen the last of those. But make sure you bet with them, bet local, Australian owned and operated. And we're going to jump straight into Caulfield. Nico, you've found a couple of bets here that are sort of coming from the same sort of race. So Caulfield Race 5 is the first one. The Stowe Storage, Bill Collins benchmark 70 here, 1400 metre race. And Furious is the favourite $5. Russian Meteor 6. Hazel Baby $6.50, Jabberwockies is $8, Matriarch Rose is $8.50. Then you got Jaconi and Russian Front and Simeon at around sort of the $10 to $14 range there. But Matriarch Rose is the first one you like here in the light blue with the yellow cap.
Yeah, I thought this race on the day, like looking at these horses in the yard, I thought this kind of feels like a Saturday race. It was run on a Wednesday, and a lot of these horses have progressed to racing in Saturday class now. Matriarch Rose, I thought she was really good first up against Girl and Catahoula when she was set a bit of a task mid-race and then just probably peaked on a run late. And then here she's led, carried 58 kilos and was just beaten by a few horses that had a softer run than her with Splashback and Cuban Link coming home late. But she does drop to 53 kilos here. There could be a chance that this track is a soft track, which she seems to like. So around that soft 5 range, I think would be a positive for her. And like I said, she drops big in the weight. Down to 53 kilos, Jayla Kennedy goes on, who is the stable apprentice. So I'm assuming she'd have a good association with this horse. She's a little bit quirky, so I like Jayla riding her, given she's probably had a few sits on her in track work. And her combination with Dan O'Sullivan, they are a very profitable combination when they combine. So from 13, she is a horse that they have ridden back previously, but they went forward on that occasion. I would think they go forward again here with the claim, and just a race that, you look at a few of the horses that are the dangers, they're probably bringing in similar sort of form, if not inferior form. A few horses coming out of benchmark 64. So I thought around $8, she could get a lot of favours on top of the speed and drops a lot in weight and could be coming out of quite a strong race. I know it was mares, but there's sort of not any horses in this race that really jump off the page at you. So around $8.50, I think she can run a good race each way. I think the danger's definitely Furious. She was good first up behind Wolfie. The Hawks horses tend to improve second up. I think that looking at the stats recently, they're a very profitable camp second up. So it's probably where you want to find them. I could back both in this race. I just thought Furious potentially could have some map issues from a wide draw if they go back. And Matriarch Rose, hopefully they ride her like they did last start. Just put her right there on the speed and she can keep kicking with the lightweight. She's going to give, Furious has got to carry 60 kilos and she's going to have 53 on her back. So could be the time to start looking for a few of these apprentices down in the weights on horses that go forward, and she ticks that box for sure.
Think tactics are critical here. What about you, DK? You had a squeeze?
Yeah, had a squeeze. That what stood out for me for that bench. I mean, that run when she won at Ballarat, second up last prep, like she just had panels that just went to the line hard held, nearly Nico won by 5 lengths.
She's got talent.
So that shows she's got the talent, had the good run first. I think she might have been ridden a little bit upside down second up, but it was leading with a weight. So correct, she'll be a lot fitter for that. So maybe roll forward, but I reckon might want to find sit 1 or 2 off them, So no, definitely agree with Nico Reed, Matriarch Rose. One of mine, one interesting horse for me is Russian Meteor. So this horse is remember I ran into it on debut. It was on Snick. Remember Snick? Snick was in its right race. Everything, all boxes ticked. Hit the front, kicked 2 in front, and whooshka, down the outside comes his first starter, 40 to 1 or something, Russian Meteor. Then the T. Stockdale gets off and the girl says, oh, yeah, well, how's that? How'd that feel? He said, I was just happy to stay on the thing. He said, it's nuts. He said, once it got there, he said, going around to the gates, he said, I was lucky to stay on the guys helped me. So then it went, I think it won again at second start, same thing. He said, it's getting a little bit better, still plays up. Then it ran some good races. It never got out one day at Caulfield. So then it's had the break. Came back, was a terrific run against the pattern the other day. It's just a line finder. But I'm just hoping that its manners, prep to prep, have improved. But just it's a line finder. second up off the lovely first up run. That's the sort of pattern I like. So I think I'd like sort of Russian Meteor was the other one there for me, Nico.
Yeah, definitely in the game. And yeah, like you said, he was huge against the pattern. Like that night at Pakenham, it was cup night. It was a good night to be up there on speed, and he was back and wide and flew home late. So yeah, no knocks him. Probably needs some luck from barrier 4, given he can't put himself in the race yet. But maybe in a faster run race, getting to metropolitan grade, that could see the best of him as well.
Yeah, outstanding. So Matriarch Rose, hoping for some positive tactics. Jayla Kennedy, 3 kilo claim, barrier 13, and then maybe just a little bit of a save, a Russian Meteor. So might be a sticky map, so you might be able to get a little bit better than $6. So DK on the Russian, and then Nico on Matriarch Rose. So easy 2-bet strategy there if you're that way inclined. Let's have a look at race 6. It's the Marshall White Geoff Murphy benchmark 78 1600 metres race, and it's Nana's Wish 550, Legacy 650, Sarasana 650, Our Empress Zoe $7, Splashback 8, Jenny Jerome 850, Regal Vow $9, and then you get $17 more, much better. A bit of a tail to this race. And the horse we're going to have a look at here is Our Empress Zoe in the Crabtree colours, in the red and the white. So coming from the same race, Nico.
Yeah, it was given a great ride by Blake Shin here. She was first up. Another one that carried weight, 60 kilos, now drops down to 54.5 kilos. She probably looks the winner here. I think she just got a little bit tired late as Splashback and Cuban Link just get over the top. But this mare last campaign, she just raced her way through the grade. She was dominant winner at Pakenham in a benchmark 58. Then D-Lane rode her at Moe, and she absolutely bolted in. Then the start after that, she split Mactube and Red Sun Sensation, who had that good sort of country cup series form. So I think she can get to somewhere near that level again. And like I said, the first up run was good. Now she drops in the weight. She could get a very similar run on the map here from barrier number 4. And just the upside that she showed throughout last preparation. She ended up running in the English Bracelet at Flemington. She wasn't disgraced. She was beaten about 5 lengths by Foxy Frida, but that's obviously where the camp thinks she can get to, running her in a race like that. And if she races her way through the grades again this winter, she's still got a pretty low rating for a horse that's contested, better races. I just thought she could get a lot of favours from barrier number 4 with the claim. And another race where it's probably not overly deep. We were on Jenny Jerome in the stream last start at Launceston. She was good from the back, but she's about a month between runs. She'll be back in the field again. Sarasana was on that fast tempo in the CUNY. She knocked up a bit late. She could probably improve. But then the favourite, Nana's Wish, I don't necessarily think she's bringing in the strongest form. Like she did win a 64 last start at Pakenham. So I just sort of went looking for a horse that's really set to peak, and I think that is Our Empress Zoe, second up, dropping in weight with a cosy run in behind that speed. So
that's what I thought, Dick. I thought the cozier run again, maybe a pair too, like Matriarch Rose, a pair too far forward in that race the other day. Her best runs, when she tailed him at Moe, she sat off him. The good run at Caulfield, Mactube run, she sat just behind him. Barrier 4, that means Scordrake can just park right behind him, And I mean. $6 a field filly and mares race. You love finding these races. But I thought I went same the same. But so Splashback's a horse I know through its maiden first prep, and it was doing that all on raw talent. It was very green. It was wide all the way, hanging out on debut at Geelong. I sort of thought it was a moral off that at Donald that pulled, over raced, and just got there. Just got there. Then got back and rounded them up at Warrnambool. The race was sort of put on for it a bit, but green again, sort of laying out. It went gun barrel straight the other day up that inside rail to round them up in that same form race. So we're sort of kicking up for that race, the Sandown race you like. So I'm thinking that, like Russian Meteor, I'm hoping that into their second prep, manners have improved off the good first up run, savaging the line. It's obviously a pattern I like. And I think Splashback, coming back a better horse, it can... I know it draws a little bit wider, so it might be a bit tricky to draw, but it can be strong late here too.
We're all about the mares on Saturday.
Mares,
Very rare for our show. They can be hit and miss, but yeah, like we're backing in that race, so yeah, it makes sense to be kicking up for Splashback given she did win it. So yeah, I think Our Empress Zoe could get the favours, and Splashback, like you said, might have just come back a better horse. The first up win was pretty dominant in the end.
Celine riding really well, not a one-trick pony at the moment. Senegali was a great ride early in the card for Kira Ma, and doesn't always have to lead or go forward, Celine. So she can put her horse in a spot or take a sit. She's she's absolutely flying, I reckon.
And that's a bit of
Celine,
a key to Saturday as well. Like, there's not many A-graders still around in Melbourne. Most of them are up in Sydney.
Yeah.
So you're looking for that sort of next line of jockeys, and she might be one still with a 1.5 kilo claim that can really kick on this winter. And she'll probably, I would have thought she wins the Apprentices Premiership of the way she's going, and she'll probably have a really good winter. So I think it's probably the time to look for a jockey like her that can really punch home some winners.
Couldn't agree more, Nico. Let's go north to the Swamp up in Sydney, and Randwick Race 3 is the first one we're going to have a look at. It's a Carbine Club Stakes, 1,600 metres, and Wits End $6, Ducasse $6, La Vampire $7.50, Kintyre $9.50, Cafe Millennium $10, Port Lockroy $10, McHale $15, He-Man $17, and then you're getting better for Legacies, Tannhauses, Ondi, and those sort of horses. And the first replay, or the only replay we're going to have a look at, is Port Lockroy down in Canberra, and he's in the yellow, wide, never on the track, and wow, fair effort this. He just doesn't stop coming.
I wouldn't say it was Hippo's crowning moment in his career, but actually the track was playing huge inside and on pace, so they went quite quick here, and Hippo kind of never found a spot and then got a bit itchy and took off, and maybe in hindsight was better off sitting back. Maybe he was aware that it was hard to sort of make ground, so he made the ground a bit early. But from a going forward perspective, it was certainly a really nice run to toughen up a horse for a mile here. Has had a gallop since with stablemate learning to fly in between races. Got the better of her there, but she was certainly treated a little bit more kindly. Hippo gave her a really good sound out, give this horse a really good sound out there, which is what I wanted to see anyway, and he kept responding. I think he's a very good horse. He's already won over 1,800, got beat 5 lengths in the Spring Champion, but that was at sort of 6th run first prep. Completely forgiving of that. I think he's certainly a horse with a sense of timing compared to those that are a little bit beaten up. Your Ducasses that are coming back from grand finals in Rosehill Guineas. Even Kintyre, who
I thought was pretty good.
Probably is very interesting here. Kintyre, I probably think it's the main danger is coming back from 2,000. That's probably a better option. Just again, is he a bit beaten up? How have they prepared these horses? Whereas I like the Port Lockroy sort of fresh angle, second up, a nice good gallop in between, 10-1. Wide draw should be no issue here. There's not a huge amount of depth to the race. If you poke holes in the top ones, Wits End was good to us yesterday in Brisbane, bless its heart. But Wits End is interesting for sure. Hasn't been tested a mile, doing it all in his first prep. You feel a bit of James McDonald tax there, I think, if it wins. Too good, Ducasse, few feed issues and things. He's a horse that I'm happy for it to beat me. To be fair, probably Kintyre's the scary one, and then of the other lightly raced horses, I think McHale's come back in really good form, but it's got to tackle the mile and heavy track, but just got a bit of X factor about it now that it's been gelded. I think it's absolutely flying, and there's a horse way down called Agita that only had its first up run the other day on the Kensington track behind Ground Rush, who's in this race, and I thought it went quite nicely there, and it'll be 100-1, and I think it's a little David Payne cheeky horse that has also been gelded this prep, and I think it's got a big engine, so I'd be letting it'll be going around a winner for me, a Jeter at 100s, but Port Lockroy clearly the horse to beat for mine in the Carbine Club.
Don't mind that, and I'd be happy to steam into that. Port Lockroy, Kintyre, and Saver Agita. I think Walt's nailed this, and gosh, there's just a lot of, as you say, junk and garbage and horses that are sort of beaten up or just in the abyss, not sure what they're sort of doing with them. But and
we're guessing, aren't we? Like we're probably saying you're trying to do it for an 8 or something like that, and as a low side of where the track should probably get to, right? So that's what the assessments are at.
I think the state of the track, actually, those horses that we talk about that are beaten up, there's not many of them that actually will relish the soft or the heavy going. So that adds to sort of my confidence level. So it's a race that I'm pretty happy to attack with a bit of vigour.
Agree.
Nico, any thoughts? Any of these lightly race horses? I see Legacy's come up from Melbourne, horse like Passim. Anything that tickles your fancy here? Or
Yeah, I was keen here. I thought McHale was a pretty easy bet at $15. Looking through his breeding, the mother was a winner, or the dam was a winner on a heavy track and run well and soft, and shooting to win it, run well on some soft and heavy track. So if that's sort of any guide. Hopefully he handles the conditions, but he's come back gelded. Didn't sort of trial that well leading into the first up runs, looking back at it, but gee, he was super. First up at Warwick Farm, coming from the back. Probably had some favours. Last start at Wyong, getting along the inside, but the last 100 metres, he was pretty dominant. He looks a horse set to peak, getting to a mile third up. So, he'll be a good result for me, Mikhail, and I could see the market having a good look at Kintyre on the back up. He was good last week in 2,000 back to the mile. He might just out-tough a few of them here.
It's the best guide, Nico. Like, if the mutter was a mutter.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of one where the mutter was a mutter. It hasn't handled it. So you pretty much, of all the speculation, all the guides, all the things you look at down to the wet track, if the mutter's a mutter, be confident.
Or a grey.
Oh, that's the other. Yeah, grey. There's narcs who want to still talk against the greys and the wet and stuff like that. I don't know what they're talking about, but anyway.
Race 7 is the TJ Smith Stakes. Feels like we've done a lot of these sprinting races, so I think everyone's pretty across and pretty used to the replay, so we'll give them a bit of a spell.
Oh, there was one replay I wish we could have seen, but I'll have to talk about that in a sec.
Imperatrice $3.10. I wish I win $4.20. Sunshine in Paris $8.50. Bella Nipotina $14. Magic Time $14. Espiona $15. Johnny Rocker, one of our ratings horses of the week last week or 2 weeks ago, $17. And Af Cabin $20. Chain of Lightning $20. Private Eye $21. Marzu $21, and then Cylinder Bonus Notches $34. So the Coal Crusher, and then Malinga Beast. So. Wow, if you're looking outside the favourites, this is a bit of a raffle with a competitive betting race, this one.
Yeah, I sort of put little yellow lines next to ones I thought had a chance, and the only horse that I've got the highlighter through as probably the starting points in Imperatrice, just because it's no weakness. It's a hard fit horse, wet track's fine. It's won over a mile. Like, it just has to be the starting point. Nico can talk about the jump outs because they gave me a migraine trying to watch them, even the two Pakenham jump outs for I Wish
That's
I
what I
Win.
thought. I'd love to have seen the replay, Walt, of posts, having a look at that most recent jump out of I Wish I Win. You wouldn't back it in anything off that jump out. Like Stage Man's a 9-year-old. It got beaten at bloody Yarra Glen the other day. Stretton Angel got beaten 5 links down the straight or something like, and it's getting bashed with the whip trying to keep up with him. And then Moody says, yeah, but it's because it was a 1,000-metre trial and it blew out late, so I've given him another 600 bit of work then, another bit of work in. I would have think you're banking on Moody knowing this horse inside out, upside down, because you could not back it in anything off that jump out.
You'd want the full ultra-tune grease and oil change, wouldn't you, to be inspecting it? But I agree. Like, it just, I don't know how anyone in the world could possibly back it off that.
The tweets come out that it's had a surgery since the spring.
Uh-oh.
It's had knee surgery, I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
It's had the tyre change as well.
But another thing that's got the asterisk for me is Moody saying that he's going to go take this horse to Brizzy. So, especially on it, if it's a bottomless heavy 10 and the races go on, I don't really want to be on a horse first up, off knee, as DK says, the grubby trial, but Moody might just want to pop off a couple of, the Dooman 10,000 and the Kingsford Smith or whatever that race is, and he'll try and just pick off a couple of cheap Group 1s up in Brizzy. It's got a bit of a whiff about it.
You wouldn't want a bong chicken run off that jump out, but anyway.
Yeah. Undergone minor knee surgery to remove a small bone chip from his right knee. I Wish I Win.
Yeah, it's always good, that. Oh. I thought Chain of Lightning was really good the other day. Dominant, was probably in the right part, but still dominant. I think it's a forgotten horse here. Magic Time ridden too close to the speed first up in a new market. I think it can certainly improve significantly. The old fella, the one that absolutely destroys us every time it goes around, Sunshine in Paris. She's probably well enough found in the market, but I think she's very dangerous.
Looks a bet to
me. And then
me.
you got half cases for Bella Nipotina on a wet track for sure. Bonus Notches and Af Cabin both coming off sort of 2 forgive runs in a row. They could pop up without surprising you in Private Eye. I see a lot of wood, semi-wood out there for Marzu. If it wins, I'll eat it. It's just a dead set camel. There's no horse that can grow, an extra 2 legs on a wet track, I don't think, to beat this class of horse. But yeah, I think Imperatrice is definitely the starting point.
It being big devil's advocate there, is there an argument to say Imperatrice isn't going as well as it could? Like, it's fallen in.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fallen in a couple of races. I know things haven't panned out for it, but only just beat Private Eye, just beat Johnny Rocker, got beaten in
Did you see the best back horse with the tab is Johnny Rocker?
No way. Oh, no way.
100%.
No way.
Old Dave Stanley came out with his list of best back
No.
runners over the carnival for the weekend.
No
And Johnny
way.
Rocker's number one.
Who are these people?
At weight for age.
Who?
Again. He's probably actually got a higher rating than Imperatriz now anyway. So
Be an owner who's green lighted and actually have a bet. Probably that's why the bet's gone through.
yeah, that's it. It's a tricky race, but like from a betting perspective,
DK's found one, it sounds like. DK's horned up. Group
No,
1
I
DK.
just sort of looking at the favourites. I went, look, can you trust Espiona? Then I see Espiona was charging in that last time she met Imperatriz, is charging at her late. Only got beaten half a length or something, but she's in and out, isn't she? She mucks around a bit, sticking her
I
head
can't
out.
imagine a bottomless track helping her.
Yeah, so that's why I was looking around so there's a chance around the favourites, but I didn't know where to go. That's right there, unless you want to ping for 420 to 1 chances.
Magic time, I reckon.
Magic time.
Chain of Lightning, Magic Time, the ones that are going to be up on speed and not have to sustain that sprint from the back. I love those sorts of horses. So they're probably the two I landed on, and I can't let Sunshiny Paris go around because I will just jump through a brick wall if it bobs up and beats me.
I'm not sure that, I think more of a handicapper, Chain of Lightning. We backed it in the bloody...
Right place, right time.
Hey, it's a
Second
grey,
street.
Scoot. Don't worry about all that stuff. It's a grey.
It's a grey. Its mother was a
no,
mother.
that's
Mother. Its mother was a mother, and that mother.
Yeah, Sunshine in Paris, Bellini Patina, Magic Time, they're the ones that I'd be sort of working around, but gosh, is it...
It's a quaddie race, isn't it?
It's a quaddie race. It's
Yeah.
a quaddie leg too.
Yeah. I love it again that they've put an absolute camel job at the last leg of the quaddie again. Why do they do it? You got all these great races and you put a camel benchmark race at the end of it. It just kills me. Even though it is learning to fly, just to add
Further.
extra pain, extra
Further
fuel to
pain.
the fire.
All right. So Imperatriz is a starting point, but I think I wish
I think it has to be favourite, but you can't back it. Yeah.
I wish I wins a team lay. Everyone's saying red
if it
alert.
wins, it defies everything I've ever seen, and it sounds like I'm alone.
Oh. It's got a task then, if that's the case. Randwick race 8 is the Doncaster. Wow, what a race. Could be race of the Sydney Autumn. Another wheel, $3.90 favourite, in from $4.60. Celestial Legend, $7.50 into $7. Ubamba Boomerang is $9.50. Militarised, $9.50. Lady Laguna, $12. Lindemann, $19 into $15. Covalika, $16. Think About It, $17. Detonator Jack, $17. Southport Tycoon, 17, 19 Zagot, your Democracy Manifest, 21 Samana, 26 Pericles, 34 Nugget for our man that's getting married over in Austin, $41, Golden Mile, 51, Rustic Steel, 51, Hinge, 71, and Berkshire Shadow, hundreds like the rest of the field, or better. Wow, what a jam-packed race, and what a glorious Group 1 handicap, and have a look at that weight spread. That is... everyone should just get horned up
Who do
deluxe.
you think, when these field come out and they put it up on the roof above their bed, got more out of it, more
Me.
moisturiser? Was it you or Peter Lawrence?
Me, both of us.
I love that you both retweet each other's stuff now. It's very cute because he and PD used to be very tight, but I think you've snuck in. I think you and him are number 1 and 2 together now.
Yeah, we must talk a lot of common sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, you're the one with the tinfoil hat, so we're all in it together somehow. Let's have a look at a couple of replays here. And Doncaster Prelude, another wheel, the Victorian, just puts a hole in him. Lackluster field, but holy moly, this is Nico's horse. He just runs around the mounting yard, sweats up, and just goes bang.
Yeah, well, I actually thought they would have gone quicker watching it live, and I thought she really aggressively rode it like it was a $1.10 chance, and she knew what she had under her, and obviously she did. But they didn't go as hard. Actually, it was a slowish tempo. Good time overall. It's done nothing wrong. I'm not knocking the horse in any way, shape, or form. It was super dominant. I actually thought it would be shorter in the betting here, just simply because of the hype and the sneaking in and all of that.
Nico, you've seen a bit of this horse. What do you think? The stable think that he's really going to be very good on a heavy track. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't have any worries with him on a heavy track. He's a bit of an athlete, and the main thing I think of him when I look at him and his replays and all that is just stamina. Like, he just can get going, this horse. Like, everything we've seen from him this campaign, just it looks like he's already won 2,000 metres. So,
Well, he's bred to run 3,000 or something, isn't he?
The brothers Will John, who won at Jericho. So, like, I think in time he's going to be a 2,400 metre horse. Like, that's where I reckon he'll end up. And here he's going to have to do it the hard way from the wide draw coming across. He thinks it's going to be a fast speed, but I don't know if that will worry him too much. But
Well, I do think right, but at the barrier, not the barrier, the pre-race matters, I think, is his main thing he's got to overcome on big days and stuff like that. Because I don't know if either anyone else had the volume up on Sky with Duff the other day, and Duff, he obviously played up, and Duff said, I couldn't possibly, he's the best horse, I couldn't possibly tip him for a horse who behaved like that pre-race. And
It's a maniac.
It's a maniac. And then he hits the line, and the Duff had okay, well, he was good, okay, but, he's got a Doncaster's going to be a harder race, and he's got to behave himself pre-race. Then Jamie Carr took offence to Duff only saying it was good. She retweeted it and said, please, only good. Horse is a star. So there's this, I think, there's just that, you said the horse is a maniac. So I think that's the main thing he's really got to overcome, isn't he, on a big day like that?
He might be sweet on Monday when there's 4 people there watching it. He might be the one cheering for the Monday
They push it
start.
back a week. They're saying a week, aren't they?
No, that'd be just crazy.
Push it back a
Randwick
week.
isn't-
I thought that's what they're talking about. So
Won't that just ruin the whole card?
They never really talk. I was surprised they're talking about anything. They never really tell anyone.
it was Shane O'Cass was saying that this morning. Who's the other Telegraph bloke, but he's saying because horses, they've got to be fair horses who want to run in the size produce, want to run in the Champagne, so they just push it back a week. So that's what they're talking about anyway, rather than the Monday.
Oh, as Walt says, good they're talking because, it's hard to get anything out of them. Randwick Guineas is the next 3 we're going to have a look at, and this is Celestial Legend and Militarize, sort of duking it out, both sort of wide. We do know that Militarize loves the wet conditions, and look at Celestial Legend. If my eyes aren't lying, he looks like a grey to me.
A lot of those
He's
legend
great.
horses are, aren't they? Yeah.
Mother of the mother.
He's a grey.
Jeez, he's got some good horses. He's got Lee Curtis getting winners for him. He definitely had the harder run of the 2 here for mine, Celestial, and he gets the better of draw and everything on Saturday for me. I think he's the only possible 3-year-old I can back in the race out of the Sydney ones. Anyway, Southport Tycoon aside, Celestial Legend, loved his trial in between. I just think Militarize is a camel. It'd be the second leg of my camel hurdle. If Marzu or Militarize win, I'm off to Afghanistan because I just think it's a camel. Even I went back and watched its wet track wins, and they were all off the back of fast tempos where there was no merit in the back end of them. He was just slugging a bit faster than the other slug. So I just think he needs hurdles.
Let's have a look at the Golden Eagle, the Japanese horse Boomerang, and I think it was a little bit rails in run this day, and Joshy's just swinging off him here. Hawaii 5-0 in front. He's in the white and the red, and the C's part, and me and you have got the moisturiser out with the towel, just absolutely loving it. J-Dubs.
Steaming up. This is about when I was hit the floor when you knew what he was chasing, sort of Golden Mile and that. But
Pericles.
yeah, and
Boom,
I know
boom.
that they've been kept carrying on that the reason they weren't going to bring him out here, well, they were worried about wet autumn, and he's only had 1 start on I don't know what the difference is, whether their rating systems are true or not, like as compared to ours. But I think it was a 7 is what they said he won on. It looked like the bloke nearly never moved on it. It's like it looked like it nearly won dead, come down the middle of the track and won quite convincingly on a wet track. And if you nearly get the stewards out to say it's a different horse compared to what I saw there and in mounting yards and things, and the horse that they've brought out this time, he dead set looks like they've brought out Rocky Balboa. It's he looks like an absolute, doesn't he? It doesn't look like the same horse. So, just quietly, like maybe it'll stop him winning by 8. He might win by 6. I don't know. I just think this is the horse that they're really worried about wet tracks. But if he handles it, holy shit!
Yeah, it's an absolute corker of a race. And you got Lady Laguna, Airborne, 51 kilos, Lindemann.
That's the end of our things. Yeah,
Lindemann goes 57 to 50.5. Here I got no more replays. I could show a heap of replays. Detonator Jack was super. First up, Kovalik is in the wilderness. Think about it, 57 kilos. Oh, I just think it's just too much of a task. Southport Tycoon, what do you think of the Melbourne boys?
Yeah,
obviously V8 one.
Highlighters from top to bottom. Obama Samurai, he gets it. Zugotcha gets it. She got the highlighter. Really well set up, loves the wet, really adaptable horse. We've talked about the speed, Fierce and Lindemann. They're going to go quick here. So probably just that 5-6 lengths off is probably going to be the sweet spot. I think another wheel might settle a little in that spot. I think it'll probably let him go. But anyway, Detonator Jack definitely gets it. I thought he was a bit of a 2-humper. And then last prep, he showed that he is sort of an improved horse, I thought. And then the first up run, I thought was incredible when he towed up in behind him. He was great
run first up. And then I'm sort of picturing that bottomless gong where he absolutely zoomed and made a mess of him at the gong that day.
100%, and gets that Timmy draw. He's won a couple of these races on these wet trackers where he sort of stalks them, and He'll just ride this horse the same. It's got 2,000 metre form, so I think he holds a lot of aces here, old Kieran, because it's a Kieran horse too, isn't it?
He's got half the field. Him and Wally.
For sure, Lindemann, the Warrior's the wet track, but far out. If for some reason it didn't come up heavy, it's certainly got to be a player. It's in rare form. Another will for sure. Celestial we've talked about in Southport. Takuma's like really dominant there. So I've got a big worry over the 3-year-olds. I love Celestial Legend as a horse, and I think the wet track will suit it. But I keep coming back to the Martu, and then you got the Waller Grand Finals, the Gotcha, and the Japanese. They're probably the.
Is it a quaddie league?
Well, it is, and I'm not. I think another will, if it just looks a rare talent to me. Like it just looks a horse that's hard to oppose. You don't know how good Obama is, so they're probably the two that must go in. And then Detonator's 15, 20 to 1, and I don't know what price Gotcha is, but Waller always has one that stampedes through the wall on the grand final. I think she looks the best of his personally. But it is probably quaddie betting. There's anyone who wants to steam into horses in this race, I'll pat them on the back and say, you've got a big set of cojones because you're going to need them. But, it's a great racing. It's just not easy to put your balls on the line, I don't think.
Nico, put your balls on the line.
Not here.
Tell us
not here.
Who's going to win.
Oh, I think Democracy Manifest is in play. I thought he was good last start. He's a good wet tracker. He was good in the Epsom. I reckon he'll run well. Don't know if he can win, but he'll run well. And if Nugget gets into the field, I think I will back him. He was great in the Doncaster last year behind Mr. Brightside and My Oberon. Nearly looked the winner there. And he's just been, I think, needing the runs this campaign. I thought he still even half needed the run last start, and he's going to drop 60 down to, 51.5. Just looks set to peak. And his recent Randwick runs are quite good. Like he had a tough run in the Epsom, but he did start favourite. And then the King Charles, he was good. And then it's the Doncaster last year. So if he does get in, I think I'll have something on him at probably 50s. And then, Militarized will grow a leg on the wet track, but I can see Walt's point that he just probably might have got away with a few races early days where there wasn't much in the back end, but there might not be much in the back end here as well. They could go quite hard and it's just last man standing. And if it is that, he's probably somewhere in play off his wet track form. Yeah, like if Think About It won at $21, if Think About It wins at 20, it's like I think we're going to be kicking ourselves, aren't we? Like in the spring, everyone was talking up like this is the best horse in Australia. Now he's going to go around 20s in a Doncaster. I know he's got a big weight, but it's a talent, and I've always thought he was a miler.
It can only win because I bagged Sam Clipperton on Twitter the other day, and that gives him about 3.2 legs.
All right, we got to be on then.
Yeah.
If Think About It, I'm not really going out on a limb here, but I'll peroxide what's left of my hair if Think About It wins. And
what about the beard?
Hey?
The beard too.
If I can figure out, I think it's a bit dangerous. I don't know.
Dangerous for who? You?
I don't know.
Then do it. It's not dangerous for anyone else.
Think About It can't win with 57 kilos. There's too many class horses that just get no weight here. If I had a free bet, I think I'd be backing Celestial Legend, and I think he'll grow it. He's one of probably the best wet trackers in the race, and he's only got 49
That's
kilos.
That's actually a good bet. I might actually suggest that to the Betfair crew, the old Celestial Legend versus Militarized. Throw that up because they're about the same price, aren't they? They're like $9 or something each.
I think Celestial Legend will be a better wet tracker, and he's going to run the 1,600 metres out stronger to my eye than what Militarized was. And then he got 54 kilos versus 49. If anything's going to beat this freak, another will, I think it'll be Celestial Legend. And I don't know, Boomerang. I just sort of had every favour that day over the 1,500.
Mate, have you ever seen a horse look more different, Nico? I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, Britannicus.
Has it had a run? I don't think it's had a run since, has it?
No.
Might have one run.
No, it hasn't run.
Hasn't had a run?
No.
Unbelievable.
They can do that, though.
It looks like Arvin Drago.
I don't know. Nico's closer to the action, but I remember, and I think I've said it before on this show, but when Britannicus was just a bloody coat hanger and he finished his sort of flat career and then he went over to Oakbank and started jumping, he went from a coat hanger to the Incredible Hulk. He just grew like it was, that can happen. How does that happen, Nico?
Boys,
is it
boys,
beach?
have I deceived
Is it
you,
beach,
or have we just
beach work?
Is he just saying that Obama Samurai's Britannicus 2.0?
No, I'm just saying that horses can like just develop. Yeah.
Blossom?
How do they do it, Nico? Is it just like
heavy
is it beach work?
sand work would have been Britannicus.
Is it?
You put him in that heavy sand and they look like different horses after a while. They just get so strong and it's really hard work. So the areas that they get really strong in, like through their hind and really build up over their sort of backside. And yeah, so that probably would have been the case with him. I don't know if they do heavy sand work in Japan. Probably they do everything over there. So
they might have.
He does look a different horse. I was watching his revision the other day out at Canterbury, and it was like far out. Like, this thing is a beast.
I used to have a keyboard that was really hard to type with, and my fingers beef right up. Is that the same sort of thing? Is that like heavy sand with a keyboard?
Don't know. I wouldn't put it past the Japanese to try him in wet tracks. They don't leave much.
Mate, he looks
many
like he's
stone
been on the
unturned.
special sushi. I don't know. He just looks like he's just going to blow their heads off. But we'll see.
I wanted to find Detonator Jack, but I just don't know if he's got the class and the ping as some of these others.
Track might have taken that out of it. That's why it's such a great race, and we've talked about it for so long, isn't it? I hope they don't have the camera on JP if a Barmer Samurai does come ripping down the outside, because that wouldn't be family viewing, I don't think.
No, poor bugger. Lost the ride, did nothing wrong in D-Lane.
The peaks and troughs of racing.
Yeah, it's brutal. All right, so I think we've made a case for a good half dozen there, so good luck to everyone betting in the Doncaster. Hopefully it goes ahead. And a little bit of an asterisk, if it's on Monday and we don't get to do another show, and then the track's completely different, or if it's a soft 7, that's a different scenario. So that preview's on sort of a bottomless, and make sure you just factor that in if things change and we don't get another show out. But we'll redo the race if it's pushed back a week, and I'm sure we'll come up with different analysis and different selections. But racingwatch.com.au is where you can find more of Johnny's stuff, and he's the master punter for a reason. You can get it via Telegram or the Discord channel. So make sure you check that out.
It's only lasts for another week, doesn't it? Am I the master punter for another week? Does it expire at the end of the Masters? Because that was it.
Not sure. Not sure. But yeah,
you're the chief, the chief executive.
Yeah, we're definitely not going the Masters this year, so that's a bit of a downer. But the good thing is there's some Eagle Farm. So I've ditched the camel racing, so I've lowered my colours to Nico. So I'm going to go back to my back to Queensland, back to my roots here, and I'm going to try and find you guys a winner and get my streak back up and going in Queensland. And I think I found one here with a couple of maybe roughies that look just the wrong price and sort of dangerous, but there's a lot of junk in this field. There's tons of junk.
Benchmark 68. There we go.
Yeah, this is what we like. Eagle Farm Race 7, benchmark 68, 1,400 metres, and Starry Eyes is the favourite at $5. Oceans are $5, Majestic Boom $5, Jupiter's $8, Felix the Scat $8, Denied $10, Brave Meso $12, Kinetic $12, Dark Harmony $20, Private Banker $20, Pentito is $21, I Am Lethal $21, and then you got Minari Magic $21, Hoot and Holler, and it's got a lot of junk in the rest of the tail of the race, but it is going to be wet, and there's 60 mil forecast on Friday, so make sure you check that out. The weather conditions before you bet, but I like the horse here, Starry Eyes, in the yellow and the blue. The name of the syndication company, Brad's syndication company there, and he sort of has to do a savage left-hand turn here. This horse, and I think he's more of a 1,400 metre horse anyway, Starry Eyes, and I just really like the way he sort of gets through his work here after struggling to sort of get clear running there, and the jockey sort of fell asleep back on the rail there and didn't get this horse out and going early enough. So I think Michael Rodd takes the ride. So you've got Robbie Dolan on, Jake Malloy on, and then it goes to Michael Rodd. And now he's drawn barrier 1. So as long as the fence isn't completely off and cactus, this horse looks the clear favourite and definitely the one to beat here. And the dangers come out of the same race, I thought. And this is a horse that Donny sort of kicked up. And Dark Harmony's the horse out in front in the blue. And I thought he was a really good run here. And I think he'll peak third up. This horse can get to 1,600 metres. So Dark Harmony in the blue goes third up here, 1,400. I think he'd go straight to the front and he'll still be just kicking for a long way. Brookhaven's the horse that goes straight past them. It's probably going to win again this weekend. And Pentito is the other horse in the blue on the outside that sort of flashes past and beats Dark Harmony. So what I'm saying is that Dark Harmony's going to lead. From an outside gate. He's going to be the one that you have to catch. This horse loves the wet tracks. Starry Eyes is going to get run of the race. And then the other sort of joker in the pack is Pentito at $21, and he'll be the horse sort of flying home late with Yvette Lewis claiming 3 kilos. So I think it's a good way to attack the race. So you got the $5 favourite, and then you got two horses at $20 or $21 that just seem to be the wrong price. And I think you'll be definitely winning on the race. And the other horse that you can follow in that replay that we just saw was Brookhaven, who's in race 9, but now
I want to declare one out of that race.
Now into $4.
A disclaimer: I've never heard of any of the horse in this race or the horse I'm declaring. Omen Bet, Brave Meso. When I was growing up, there was a bloke at Longreef Golf Club named Neil Mason.
Yes,
he won the Australian or New South Wales or Australian heavyweight and boxing titles, wrestling and boxing titles in the same day.
Yeah,
my old man hit him with a full-blooded driver from about 60 metres one day, and the bloke didn't stop walking. Neil Mason, I used to call him Meso. The horse is called Brave Meso.
So tomorrow.
I can't see it getting beat.
It's got the Bubba's Bay form, so it's not bad form either.
Moral, don't worry about the form. Moral.
Okay. Brave Meso, because Walt used to play golf somewhere, and his dad hit him with a driver from 60 metres out.
Passed away, but he's a good fella.
$12. Maybe add it to the first 4, and it could pay anything. Because the market just looks a little bit skew. If Oceans Are can make a case against Majestic Boom, still got a bit to learn. Jupiter's Felix Escat's a good horse, but it needs much further. And then happy to take on others who may not like the wet track, but bet with confidence and make sure you have something on Brookhaven in race 9 as well. But we've got D. Thornton from barrier 14, which is bloody scary for a jockey like Damien, who has to make a couple of big decisions. Punting form is how I do the form, so make sure you give puntingform.com.au a chance and match that with your tape watching and your data analysis skills. Donnie is due here. He's had the washout last week, but he's going to find one at Eagle Farm, weather pending.
G'day, boys. What about the winner, Calipore? Come on. Best bet this weekend comes up in race 1 at Eagle Farm. Extra Gear looks a new horse since it's changed stables. Gate 1, it should lead them up. They're always hard to catch around the Eagle Farm 1,000. Around the $5 mark looks a great play. Race 1, Extra Gear.
This is one of your horses.
Has it changed again?
Who's got it now?
Joe Eibel.
Okay, because it's been trolling down here in New South Wales. So, yeah, it's interesting he snuck it up. It was lambing, 100%. One of the fastest horses I've ever seen.
Did you try and buy it, DK?
No, I would have probably if I'd seen it up. Would have had, sort of horse. Showed some good qualities down here, didn't it, Nico? Remember? Had some talent.
Yeah, won at Sale or Geelong one day in really good style, and then ran in 1,000 against Prelude or a race like that. So always had a bit of ability. She was like a 1,400 metre horse down here, so 1,000 metres maybe they've just changed her up.
Figured it out. Joseph Eibel.
I remember talking to Tegan Harrison about it one day because she used to ride a lot of work for the lambings and that when the horse was up here. She's probably the fastest horse she's ever ridden, fast, like speed-wise.
Who? Extra Gear?
Yep.
Yeah. And what's Joseph Eibel like as a trainer?
Big strike rate man. He seems attached to it, so he loves trialling them and getting ready for races. Doesn't seem to run them until they're ready to sort of win. Right. So, yeah, he's interesting. He can pick a very scary rider, but I don't know who's on Extra Gear. But
Robbie Dolan.
He's all right. In New South Wales. But, he's okay.
Well, Donnie be on the board then hopefully there. So that leads us into the TopSport Steamers, and this could well be Donnie's bet. It's Eagle Farm, race 1, number 11, Extra Gear, $1,200 at $4.80. So that price has disappeared now. It's $3.90. So
decent bet. Nice
work knocking that one over, Donnie. And Eagle Farm, race 4, number 9 is the next bet, and it's Vintage Choice. So, look at this one. Looks like a bit of a partial here. So someone white hot has backed this. So Eagle Farm race 4, number 9, 222 at $10 to win 2,000.
Richie Benno's backed it.
Annabelle Neesham, and it's 10 into $6.50. So price gone. Caulfield race 9, number 4, Deny Knowledge, $200 at $15 in the Easter Cup, taking on horses like First Immortal, one of DK's horses, Aberfeldy Boy. Faces a task, Nico, DK?
If he gets loose in front, like if he can find his best, he can be dangerous, can't he? If he gets loose in front and rolls along and makes it a test and that sort of stuff. He's an interesting horse, to my knowledge.
Yeah, not hopeless.
Yeah, so I'd say someone's said he's probably going to be playing the race and include him.
And the last one here is Caulfield race 10, number 11, and it's Regal Amazon. Or Regal Asmon, sorry. And it's $6.50 into $5.50, so $500 at $6.50.
Yeah, it was Max Payne last start. We were on, I think it was about $8 or $9, and he was a moral bet.
Never got a crack at
Valley. So I probably got to follow up there. I had a good crack at him out of the yards. So yeah, looked to race up for grabs, and he should have won easily last start. He had no luck.
You just added that one in, didn't you? And you even said the name wrong to try and throw off that you didn't know who the horse was. You're a low man, mate.
I would not do that.
Oh, you'll probably have the replay of El Rocker up next. You're a dog.
I would not do that. No, I know how bad it is. I know how bad the pain is. DK, last week, I know how bad this thing was on Premier at Kerrang.
It was all over after 2 strides.
Oh.
Yeah, well, missed the start. You can't miss a start at Terang. Only tipped it because it's going to lead and be stronger than Dingoes. And next minute it's back and wide, and the race is dominated by 1-1 and the Things box seat. The whole meeting was dominated by Things in the box seat, forward on the rails. So and then it raced like it. It hasn't got a turn of foot, so it just plugged away. And I think it's in a mile maiden, drawn low at Benalla tomorrow, but I'm not following up on it. But what do you do? A trial at Terang, spacious track. Probably could take your time to get across. Then it got outside the leader from the outside draw to Rang. Again, same track. Then he gets on a tight little track. It's just sometimes these trainers, the way they place these horses, with a short run to the first turn and misses the start. So, no, as soon as it missed the start, I said, we're off here. No. So, anyway, it's unfortunate. But, what do you do? You got to go back and find B Shin. That's all you got to do, I suppose. You go back and find B Shin. So, tonight, B Shin's riding tonight before he heads up north. So Pakenham race 5, stylish. It's got the platform I like. I spoke about earlier. Second prep up in trip. First prep it ran second to a horse called Global Pivot, who's I think it's a 12-1 chance or something on the Adrian Knox, isn't it? On Saturday in Sydney. So that was its only run at. That was 1,300, and we kept finding the line with Global Pivot, who's obviously a strong horse because running in 2,000. Gaybot got out the back from the chute at Pakenham first up, worked home nice. In a race was hard to make ground. I think second and third or third and fourth, the 2 things that finished near Attain and Royal Telephone have both come out and won. It's a good form race. The Moody horse led and had every possible in town the other day and couldn't win. Not a lot else in the race, so I thought B Shin can get stylish within range. It can round them up. Stylish.
Pakenham race 5. Number 11, stylish, B Shin.
Loves it shinning, doesn't he?
Loves these big
clocking some miles
fanboy
up.
B Shin fanboy DK, which is easy to see why. He just bounces them out and they always sit a little bit closer and
good to
beautiful
see. Well, these normally weeks, like when they're riding light and things, they try and have light work. They don't try and ride too much. So it's good to see that he's hungry, B Shin.
Outstanding. All right, let's another good show for us. So we're crossing everything that we can get the meetings ahead on at Eagle Farm and of course at Randwick. And,
Mate, you're death riding them hard. You're there. I don't want them to run, so I can. You want them postponed?
Well, I'll just have all my bets, and then I just don't have to watch them. So either way, I'm just going to bet and forget, set and bet and forget. But
instead of bet.
Well, it's easier if they're called off because it means it'll be less work for me later on to catch up on. Because that's the brutal thing, as DK knows, like catching up with your replays and stuff. And as you know, it's just painful, isn't it?
I love it. The more painful it is, the more you watch the replay.
You are a sicko.
Just
Speaking
keep
of
jabbing it in.
no proposals or anything up at Coffs Harbour, Nico didn't kneel on the sea and fall over. And
has he cashed that 500 free meal in yet?
No, he needs to.
Yeah, I probably should, eh? That's maybe something I can do coming up, but nothing on that front for a while.
Oh, sad news. All right.
We're all cast. We've already done all that, haven't we?
Exactly. We're Cactus. All right. I think that's a wrap from us, but good luck this weekend on the punt and make sure you do it responsibly and all that sort of business. And hopefully we've found you a couple of winners and we'll see you next week and we'll do it all over again. Big thanks to TopSport and Punting Form as always. See you guys.